James Cameron's Titanic is a movie that's both one of the best movies ever made, and maybe the worst. How can it be both, you ask? Well, how can Lindsay Lohan be both revolting and fuckable? How did Neil Armstrong land on the moon, but never fuck Lindsay Lohan? Well, let's examine this film and why some people hate it, and why some people love it, right? There's gotta be some kind of explanation.
Was that the way of it?
Is it a good movie, or is it a terrible movie? Well, everything is a matter of opinion, I guess. Unless it's my opinion, and then it's right. So let's jump in, shall we? Ha 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 ha. Number 1, I'm the king of the world. After winning the Oscar for Titanic, James Cameron famously proclaimed,
I'm the king of the world!
This upset a lot of people because they saw it as a clear endorsement for a return to monarchies. But anyway, the truth is that James Cameron kind of was the king of the world at the time. In the raking in a whole bunch of money sense. I mean, the man made like $1 billion or whatever with his movie about people drowning and freezing to death. It captured the imagination of the whole world. But my question is, was Titanic always the movie it was supposed to be? James Cameron did say he pitched it as Romeo and Juliet on the Titanic. Or was it more like Star Wars, a hack sci-fi flop that was saved in editing?
Only a master of evil, Darth.
Both movies certainly were enhanced by their amazing scores, to say the least. But for this review, I'm gonna examine the good, the bad, and the ugly about Titanic, which is ironically one of my favorite movies of all time. Sadly, Leonardo DiCaprio and Rose McGowan play Jack and Kate, two star-crossed lovers sailing on the ship of doom. They get drunk, fuck in someone else's car, and yell at some poor guy just trying to do his job.
Shut up!
They also cause lots of property damage and generally act like fucking assholes. Leo plays a guy named Jack Dawson, a struggling actor who also draws pictures.
Well. And these were drawn from life?
Number 3, why is this movie good? As I just said, Titanic had a very basic love story, lacking in any modern-day cynicism. It was very old Hollywood, as they say. It's that return to a simpler time which will always have a universal appeal. But in addition to the heartstring-pulling story, Titanic also gave us a great movie-going experience, complete with shooting guns and people dying in horrific ways. That's what I liked about the film, because I'm a history buff and a fan of violence. All kinds of violence. No previous Titanic film was filled with such amazing things. It was a new take on a classic story. These people weren't all singing "Nearer My God" to Thee as the ship went down. They were murdering each other. So you have these two main elements, a simple and ultimately tragic love story even Mongoloids could relate to, and a downright suspenseful and well-made action movie by one of the all-time action movie masters. But in addition to that, there is attention to detail in another area. Number 4, Titanic history. Titanic brings a historical event to life in an exciting way. Not the Jack and Kate part, but mostly everything else. We've heard most of this shit before, but I'll go through it again. When Titanic was built, she was the largest moving object ever created by man, other than President Taft. Taft, you fuck! You bought your clothes at the Portly Gentleman used clothing store. You cheapskate. I know it because I sold it to you. Anyways, I'm not just being sexist about Titanic. It's because men fucking built it. The only thing women did back then was complain, and also give birth to men who built amazing things. Anyway, we had gotten a little arrogant and didn't think a horrible tragedy like the awesome ship sinking would ever happen, especially right after we just fucking built it. The Titanic was also a microcosm of society at the time. The first-class passengers on Titanic were rich white people. Second-class passengers were sort of rich white people. And the third-class passengers were white people that were still better off than most black people. Then everyone had to struggle to survive when the rich white people from the White Star Line didn't put enough lifeboats on for all the white people. Then everyone turned even whiter when they died. And you thought being black was hard.